Hi, everyone, and thank you so much for coming to another episode where I'm talking with the composers off of my upcoming album, Delta Waves. Today, I am joined by Kincaid. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me. It's really great to be with you here in Misha, San Diego.
Yes, exactly. Virtually, the powers of Zoom allowing us to meet each other even though we're hours apart.
Yeah, by plane.
Yes, exactly.
Days by car. Um,
So before we jump into talking about your tenor sax piano piece, how about we talk about just how we initially met?
oh man. How many years has it been?
What year is it? 5 or 6?
What year is it? 2021.
It is 2021.
Um,
I'm getting old. You'll have to forgive me.
yeah, you at 23, 24? 23, right?
23.
23, yeah.
23, yeah.
Oh no, yeah.
I haven't had enough caffeine today, apparently. Yeah, so probably would have been about 5 or 6 years ago that we actually just met through
you
Facebook.
were in high school when you
Yes.
connected with me, and it was like, who is this high schooler
Yeah, I
from
liked new music.
the Midwest?
Just
connecting
generic
with
city, USA.
me.
Exactly.
Just like Ohio, and I was like, sure, okay.
Yeah, all those Midwestern states just kind of blur into, corn. And that's about it.
Oh my
Corn
god.
City, USA. So,
Corn.
yes. And then we...
I think it's oh god, I think it's a clarinetist on Twitter that I love has just corn and just people going as this cover photo. It's great.
Yeah, that describes Michigan quite well, actually. So no, when we initially met, we didn't collaborate for a couple of years, but
Well,
then
I think we aspired to collaborating, but we were both at a point where it was like it wasn't the right time. And collaborating
Yes,
is all
yes.
about right place, right time. And
yes, of course,
and that's
because
okay.
I was because I was going into my undergrad, so I was very busy with starting off freshman year.
And like and I mean, all things considered, like the collaborations have been great since we waited.
Yes, of course. I think the collaborations we've done in the past have both turned out fantastic, which led to our first collaboration of the Blank Experiment.
Yes. Would you like some shit to play?
Yes, exactly. When you first start off,
a reminder that this conversation is not okay for kids because I am not kid safe.
Yes, exactly. I'll
So-
put a little parental warning. I'll forget to do
just,
that. But no, that was the message we got within 24 hours of starting the Blank Experiment Facebook page.
Oh my god.
I remember looking over to
that's
clarinetist
really-
Michelle and just being like, how do I respond to this? But
I fully didn't expect a response. Like I was like, I'm just gonna send this. They're not gonna respond. Nothing's gonna come of this. And then, a year later, you've performed music inspired by Breaking Bad.
yes.
And then you put me on an album, and I'm like,
Yes.
okay, well, I guess I should ask more people if they want shit to play.
Exactly. That should just be your cold open for every ensemble.
Yeah.
Take note. And if you want to learn more about this collaboration, check out Conversations with the Blank Experiment down in the description below.
Yeah, just wherever that is.
Shameless self-promotion. That's what these are all about.
Yeah, I make everything off of shameless self-promotion.
Isn't that what like new music social media
That's what
is all
Twitter's
about?
all about.
There it is.
Shameless, yeah, shameless self-promotion.
You're more into new music Twitter. You're allowed to make
And-
that joke. I'm not.
And cat pictures.
And cat pictures. That is what TikTok is all about. Is cat
And
videos.
and pointless arguments.
Yes. Oh,
Also
100%.
pointless arguments.
Yes. Yay, we love
Who doesn't love a pointless argument?
exactly. Twitter.
Anyways.
Anyways, so we won't go into too much detail about that, but that resulted in a piece about Breaking Bad, which,
Yeah.
was awesome.
Yeah, that piece was really fun to write. Kind of episodic.
Yes, very much so.
And it was such an interesting timbral challenge to come to marry clarinet, tenor saxophone, and harp. Which is just it's a really cool piece, and it's always something that I have always actually wanted to perform that piece, but never been able to find the people to line up the people to be able to perform that piece, because as a clarinetist, like that's one of the pieces that I could be able to perform. And
yes,
so,
find a harp player, and the three of us can play it.
That's the big one.
You know the entire harp social media community.
Yeah, I'm getting there. Harpists hang out on Instagram, and I'm still not entirely sure how Instagram works.
Oh, interesting. I learned something, because Instagram, I'm more of a Facebook man myself.
I'm a Twitter person, so like
I feel like everybody
Instagram is a little weird.
Yeah, I feel like everyone, if you're connected into like new music social media, you're really good at one of them.
Yeah.
I feel like that's how everybody is. And for me, just like Facebook and my social media style collaborate quite nicely.
Right. Yeah.
I'm not funny enough to be good on Twitter. You have to be funny to be good on Twitter.
I'm not photogenic enough to be good on Instagram. And I am not focused enough to.
Yeah, I mean, Facebook, I feel like is
I am on both, but like,
and
but
you can
to be
check
good
all
on
those
them,
out.
You actually have to be those things.
Check out all the social media in the description as well. Those will all be there. So apparently, follow Kincaid on Twitter.
Yeah, that's
and
the
me
big
on
one.
Facebook.
That's the one I actually care about.
Yes, the one I care about is Facebook. So it works. But yeah, so then COVID hits, and we start having a couple phone conversations.
Well,
about...
I mean, like, this was a couple of years later.
Yes, I guess I'm doing a terrible job of this timeline. Because,
like, immediately thereafter COVID hits. No, there were a couple of years.
Because when did you write the piece for the Blank Experiment? Was that
2017?
That was 2017. Okay. So that was very early on in the Blank Experiment.
2017, 2018.
Yeah, because we
it was
premiered
right
your
in that
piece.
winter period.
Okay. Yeah, because we premiered it in the spring at the Flint Institute of Music.
We were definitely talking about it. We were talking about late 2017 for sure.
Yes, because I remember our first batch of commissions was filled up very, very quickly after posting that.
Well, I mean, that makes sense. It's you. And that makes sense.
More like it's harp, and everybody loves harp.
Yeah. Not everyone knows how to write for harp, but everyone loves harp.
Very true. But and you can find out about many of those collaborations on Conversations with the Blank Experiment. This one is this episode is very self-promoty already.
Yeah, shameless plugs.
Exactly, but
everywhere.
No shame at all.
And if you want to learn how to write for harp, go watch my 37-part YouTube's. I'm kidding. I don't know.
Somebody on New Music
does.
I was about to say somebody on New Music Twitter has one of those, and I forget who it is. I've been seeing
Danielle.
Danielle has that. That's it.
Danielle
I knew somebody did.
Who will be also down in the description, because why not?
You're making more work for me in editing.
I'll just send you the link.
I have to pay attention to who needs to be in the description. Anyway, so then 2 or 3 years later, COVID hits, and we randomly started talking very early on in COVID about consortium.
And like we had already been talking, because we actually met in person at NASA.
Yes,
which was the
March.
last big event that happened in music and new music.
Yes,
before COVID really hit.
It was the first time we had met in person. You know, 4 or 5 years after we had first connected on Facebook.
And after, frankly, you had commissioned me and performed my music. So
and put your music on an album.
Exactly, and so it was very interesting to be meeting so late into a friendship and a collaborator relationship.
Yes, I could not agree more.
So we had continued conversations we had continued a dialogue about collaborating on a solo piece after NASA. And like when COVID hit, what happened for me with COVID was I was planning a recital in April 2020, combined with my master's degree, for my master's degree as partial fulfillment of that degree. And that recital was entirely chamber music, which I'd spent the last 2 years of my master's degree writing. And then COVID hit, and that was made impossible. It was impossible to get the chamber music together. It was hard enough where a click track was not really wouldn't really work.
Yes.
And so I realized really quickly into COVID that into the pandemic that I needed to write solo music, and I needed to really commit my time to writing solo music, solo and duo music, which it just so happened that my catalog of existing music was missing.
Yes, because also I remember one thing we forgot. I also played one of your reed quintets.
You did.
With the Fifth Circle.
You did.
2018? 2019?
I think so. You played
Something like
Knights
that.
and Kings.
Yes.
Which is a piece about Arthurian legends. Yeah, I'm really happy you played the crap out of that piece. Like,
thank you.
That was really, like, that's not an easy piece.
I remember after we picked
hard.
After we picked that piece of your catalog, you were like, "Why'd you pick? Like, you picked one of the hardest ones."
Well, they're all hard.
Yeah, fair enough.
They're
Exactly. Yes,
they're
transitioning back to that's why
reasons.
the recital wouldn't work. Yeah.
But yeah. But they're all hard for different reasons, and I tend to do that like Hocketing or phase music thing.
Yes,
that makes my music really, really hard to play with a click.
But very, very rewarding to play in person. I think it worked incredibly well. And we wanted something with soprano saxophone and English horn.
And that's what included both.
And I remember we were just trying to find something in the more like super core reed quintet repertoire, and it's all alto, sax, oboe. And I was like, wait, I think Kincaid has something.
Yeah, turns out Kincaid has something.
And I was right.
Yeah, no, yeah.
So, yes, going back to discussing the consortiums for solo or
and
duo.
I had already planned a consortium for English horn and piano and harp and piano, which both kind of worked, but I knew if I did the saxophone, I knew if I got in touch with a saxophonist, this would work. I would be able to make money from the saxophonist. I would be able to recruit an actual consortium, or really create a robust, frankly, I believe multinational. I believe.
Well, how many players did we even have on the consortium? There was a lot. 11?
13, I think.
13? Oh, it was 11, but then at last minute there were 2 others added. I remember that now.
Yeah. So there were 13. It's actually not. I'd say about 2, but like in October it will become available. So
okay.
If you want more information about when that will become available, follow my Twitter, because that's where.
Yes, exactly.
Follow me on my various social medias in the description below.
But especially Twitter.
Because that's probably the one I'm actually gonna post about it on.
Well, it initially didn't start as me leading the consortium.
Yeah, it was through you that I developed my consortium captain position. Which is to say, like, for instance, I don't know every saxophonist on the planet. I know every harpist on the planet, but I don't know every saxophonist. And that, of course, is hyperbole. I do not know every harpist. I know a lot of them, though.
Yes, disclaimer.
This
information may not be truthful.
No, nothing. Don't trust anything that I say. None of it is true. All of it is true, and none of it is true. Anyways, I shouldn't try to be funny. Funny doesn't actually work for me, but
you're on New Music Twitter. You have to be funny to be good at Twitter.
Yeah. I mean, yep. That's what I
That
do.
or have a cat,
Or
like you
have
said,
a cat. I
or
would.
both, like
Or
Griffin.
both, and just be Griffin Candy. Just be Griffin Candy, who you can also find in the description below.
Yes, check out
Check
the
out
episode
Griffin
I did with
Candy
Griffin.
because, like,
Yes,
we're both
that
huge
video
Griffin
is on
stands.
my
So,
channel.
like, yeah, just, just um,
Also, another
be,
cool tenor sax piano piece.
the best person you can be, unless you can be Griffin Candy. Then be Griffin
Which is a
Candy.
tier above.
Yeah,
Yes.
just one tier, just like one tier. Like there's normal human Griffin Candy God.
I'm learning so much today. Anyways,
God.
consortium captains became a thing.
Yes,
I think that's where
through
we're
the
at.
lens of this collaboration, I developed
Yes.
like this consortium captains, which, because apparently it's just shameless plugs, I'm currently taking people for in 2022. So if you have an idea for a consortium, follow me on Twitter and DM me on Twitter. Oh my god, it's too many things.
I'm making
Engage
so much
with
work
me
for myself.
Online. Engage
Yes.
with me online.
I don't need to say my
Moral of the story.
So I don't need to say my ending segment of like, where can people find you? Because I think we
Twitter.
figured that out. Send us both messages. If you're a
Twitter.
composer, send me a message. If you're a performer, send Kincaid a message.
Yes. Please.
Apparently.
Please. Apparently. Whatever. Anyways, and so, like, Drew became the first consortium captain for this piece. And one of the things that I do with my music that not a lot of other composers do is I aggressively theme my music, which is to say I take like a pop culture artifact or a story line or some kind of other thematic element or like or some kind of other storytelling, some
like
kind of
theming to
other world
it.
building idea.
Well, because even just take your tagline on all of your logos and on your website.
Yeah.
You know, composer, storyteller, world builder, and wizard.
Yeah. Which I'm not funny at all. Of course not. You can't surmise that from every part of my branding. Anyways, and so I was really struggling with the theme for what would become the collaboration. And I called up Drew and I was like, I'm really struggling with the theme. What do you think would be what do you think? And he said,
I remember I was on a walk with my fiance and her dog.
And you immediately said steampunk. And I'm like, well, obviously we're going to do steampunk. Well, obviously.
Because, like, what doesn't exist?
Right.
Like steampunk?
Steampunk.
Yes.
Yeah, I was just like, I don't know what to do. And Drew was like, steampunk.
Yeah.
And I'm like...
So it became what is perhaps my favorite thing ever, a steampunk romance for tenor saxophone and piano.
No, it's even better.
Amazing.
It's a steampunk adventure romance for tenor saxophone and piano.
Yes. Which is just amazing.
Or
and
even
if that...
better, it's a high-flying steampunk adventure romance for tenor saxophone and piano.
And if this doesn't make you want to go out and buy Delta Waves, that will not be available in the description because it is not out yet. But
no, not yet.
But follow me on Facebook to figure out when it will be out.
Follow me on Twitter because you can bet that I will be retweeting that.
Yes, exactly. So, thus, the Automaton Aeronaut was born.
Yes. And so I kind of experimented with storyline for a bit, and I wrote down an entire story for it that I didn't actually end up using. Literally wrote down. If they want to pause it and actually look at it at that point, that's fine. and like basically it's Cinderella in a hot air balloon.
Mhm.
And it's like about empowerment and like um the how the aeronaut um becomes an aeronaut and how she enlists the help of an automaton um to join her. And like I still think it would be a really really fabulous short film, but like
Mhm. Yes.
do I have the budget for that? No.
Any people out there who want to make a short film?
Yeah, yeah. Yeet me a message on Twitter
Yeet
or
Kincaid a message on
yeet
Twitter.
me oh, message.
So we have some modern references with Stan, and we have some like 2019 references with Yeet.
With Yeet. Yeah.
Actually, before that, because that was Vine, so that would have been
Really like
yeah.
I just use that word.
Yeah, that was Vine.
Which is
yes,
I think so.
yeah, because like the
No.
water bottle yeeting it down
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
hallway.
yeah,
I think
yeah,
that's
yeah.
where it came from.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Educational
Anyways,
podcast.
So, so I took so from that I did some light sketching. So I did. Here is a sketch for Automaton Aeronauts, Switchback Daredevils, Exploring Infinities. Here is another sketch right here. Oh, here's another sketch. Like anything else? No, I don't think so. Oh yeah, no. Here's some sketching for that, and then it's done.
Well, in one of these sketches you sent to me and I recorded for a little like
yes, for a
trailer.
little trailer.
Yes, which was very exciting, and you can hear that on your YouTube channel still, right?
Yes, I believe it's still up.
Yeah, which was very fun, and that was a very nice experience. And
yeah,
you could compare it to the recording of the new version and try and find it of the full version.
Yeah, I mean, it's literally that's dropped directly into the
yes.
piece, like so. There that section is directly in there. Anyways, and so Drew recruited a ton of saxophonists, and really shilled my project really successfully, and we got it funded. And then I wrote the piece, and as usual practice, I sent it to Drew and the other members of the consortium, and I said, I don't think this piece is good. Hopefully you like it, because I'm not convinced it's good. And you come back to me and you say, what?
I know that melody at M is one of the most gorgeous things ever, and I remember it because I remember it's M because of that's how much I love it. Like, no idea what Kincaid is talking about. They're full of it. Go listen to the full piece. It's gorgeous. It is what the tenor saxophone needs. The tenor sax, like, just absolutely beautiful, heart-wrenching music, and you really just you feel the story because there are short program notes in the final version of the piece, and I really think that comes across in the music.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that, but it's hard for me to hear things like that because I listen back to my music and I'm like, well, I think I might have phoned it in on this one. But I think it works. So it's not that big of a deal. And then it was premiered at UMich in February.
Yes, Dr. Liz Ames and I played it for one of the studio classes.
And then the online premiere was on whatever day my senior recital, your graduate recital was on, that I can't remember the day of now because I'm nuts. What? Sorry, I actually have to get this right. This is insane. Like,
yes, you
heard. It was just a couple weeks ago, but I've had enough happen.
You heard this piece you heard this piece along with some of the other great consortium pieces that have come out.
Yes. April 7th.
Yes.
As well as Switchback Daredevils, the piece for harp and piano that I mentioned before. Wishful Thinking for English horn and piano. Diamondback Darlene for solo Clarsach. That's not how I pronounce it. Rosanna Moore is gonna kill me. But check out Rosanna Moore's fabulous information.
I'm glad my semester's ending, so I have time to do this.
I'll send you everything.
And you're forgetting a superhero cat.
Yes.
How could you forget a superhero cat?
The many adventures of Mr. Maverick, a piece about a cat who is also a superhero for trombone and piano.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Can you repeat that for the audience?
Yes, I can. It's a piece about a cat who is also a superhero for trombone and piano, which I can now always say that people paid me to write.
You heard that right, everybody. Cat superhero. Go listen to it right now.
I don't actually think it's available anywhere.
Then don't go listen to it right now.
Actually, it is. It's on my YouTube.
Then listen to it right now.
It's totally online. I forgot about that.
Which is also where you can
virtual recital.
Yes.
That's now just available. So you're. It's funny.
Yes, exactly.
Anyways.
Well, and there's also some fantastic artwork that goes along with.
Yes. So
yeah,
for each of these consortiums, consortia, whatever. We're American. Let's say consortiums.
There it is. Yep.
Because we bastardized language. It's fine. For each of these consortia, see, there I go. I commissioned a piece of art for a limited special edition score. Each art piece is by Annalisa Leinbach, and so I actually have the piece for Automaton and Aeronaut here. So this is that piece. There we go. So yeah. So this was done by Annalisa Leinbach, who...
Are you going to say it? Yeah. You know by now.
In the description. This is a big, long description just full of people that are not actually Drew or I.
This is a shameless self-promotion of our friends.
Yes, shameless promotion of all of our friends. Go
yes,
follow
exactly.
them.
Yes.
And so she has created some fabulous artwork for me for each of these, including Automaton and Aeronaut.
Yes, an absolutely gorgeous piece of art to go with a gorgeous piece of music. So, yes. Is there anything else you would like to share about the piece, or our many collaborations, or anything?
No, I think that's like, is there anything else in the storyline for the production or anything? How did you and Dr. Ames find rehearsing it?
I'm getting interviewed now.
Did you find any challenges with playing that piece?
I think, like you said, with your reed quintets, the idea of almost like having hemiolas between the instruments is something we found very challenging in it, especially with different accent patterns being in the same meter. But a lot of the time, it all flows very organically, and you hear that. Even though it may be hard to line up, when it does line up and when it doesn't line up is very apparent. Which I think, I think works very, very well.
Makes it super hard, but it works. I think on an aesthetic level.
Yes, exactly. And I think that was our biggest challenge going ahead with very limited rehearsal time because Dr. Ames is busy, and it was
because she has to perform with every saxophonist on the planet. So,
yes, exactly. So, that was probably the biggest challenge in moving with the piece, and then just like the piece is also. How long's a piece? It's
10-ish minutes. I think your recording was about 12.
Yeah, it's a long piece that is very go 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 the entire time.
Yeah.
So that was a big problem
breaks.
I had, is just the idea of being able to build up endurance. And I think because it was a bit longer because a few of the sections were slightly under tempo, and then I think with
I mean, like, there's such thing as composer tempo, so like there's performer tempo and composer tempo is always 20 click faster than the performer can actually play.
Yeah, some of the licks get nasty.
Yeah.
But and then with the slow stuff, I milked it and tried, and that.
And it totally works.
Thank you. And I think that was the biggest challenge I had with the piece, is just a 12-minute piece where for a lot of it is and I have to be able to not only articulate that but actually keep the lines, moving.
And it's low articulation on tenor saxophone. It's not exactly. Yes. Yeah, I didn't write something easy here.
And but it just and just because it's hard, like it works very well, and if it sounds effortless, I think it comes across very nicely.
Right. I really felt like there were moments in that piece where I really got to show off some things, like like being able to write like my favorite part of Amaton Arena is the moment when saxophone fades into the background and piano gets a fugue.
Yes, I remember
a fugue.
I remember when
just out of nowhere, just like the piece erupts into this piano fugue, and I think I told you before the performance because you asked some questions.
Yes.
I think I told you that like she can go ham on that fugue. She can really overpower you there. It's okay.
Yes.
And
Dr. Ames is amazing, and when she does that, it's awesome.
And the recording I got of it was like, oh yes, yes, because you just feel that fugue, like it's just like there's so many things to listen to in a fugue. I love writing a fugue. There's so many things to listen to that it just makes you
And the studio recording is going to hopefully also be very nice.
It's a studio recording. It
yeah.
better be.
Yeah.
But so and then so Drew, when is your album going to be available?
I don't have a clue. Hopefully,
okay, well, yeah,
like Q1 next year.
Okay,
aiming
cool.
for at the latest March.
All right.
I would like to have it out before I graduate. The plan is to have a couple recording sessions over the summer, edit in the fall, so everything is done by early winter or early 2022.
Right, and most of the pieces on it are quite short, right?
Yes, because there are now 13 pieces on the album.
Oh, for goodness sake!
But it's about 70 minutes of music.
Thank you.
Oh. You cut out.
You froze momentarily.
Oh,
so I froze.
You froze too. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
Well, thank you on behalf of all of us composers for putting our music on an album, but like that is a lot of music. Are you sure you're gonna survive this? This whole process.
Yeah, after tomorrow, after finals week, it's just going to be playing the tenor saxophone for the next 4 months, which is definitely not a bad thing.
Well, I mean, I don't think you would ever complain about that.
Because I think your piece is the longest piece on the album. Most of the pieces are... there's a lot of pieces that are 5 minutes and under.
Okay, yeah.
So most of the pieces are unaccompanied, but there's probably about 5 or so with piano.
Mm-hmm.
They're all very, very different, and I think it really just shows the scope of the 21st century tenor saxophone. It's not all one thing. There's so many different things. There's everything from the absolutely gorgeous melodies of the automaton, the aeronaut, to stuff with no mouthpiece, to multiphonics, to altissimo. There is anything and everything that a musician, saxophonist, or just lover of music could want. And I really want it to show the diversity of 21st century music as well as the diversity of the tenor saxophone. So hopefully that comes across.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it sounds great. I'm very excited to hear how things go, and I think that I and go follow this person. This person, go follow them. This person.
Yes, and follow Kincaid too.
I
I would.
sincerely hope. I sincerely hope that is the right direction on your side of this.
Yes, it is. I am. Yeah, you're that way, and I'm that way.
So I'm not pointing this way. And follow this person. This person that's like out of frame. Oh my gosh.
Well, yeah, and I would ask where people can find you, but I think we've covered most of that. All of Kincaid's social media.
San Diego. That's where people can find me if they really want to. Is San Diego.
Yes, fly out to San Diego. Just start walking around aimlessly.
Just walk around. Just
eventually,
walk. Eventually you'll run into Kincaid. You'll know them because they're annoying. They're the only annoying person in San Diego.
A great way to end a great discussion. You can follow all of Kincaid's social medias, all of my social medias. You can learn more about Delta Waves at andrewhofstra.com/deltawaves. There you can find a full track listing. This interview, along with all the other interviews I've done so far, upcoming performances, previous performances, and so much more. So be sure to go check that out. And thank you again, Kincaid.
Yay! Thank you for having me again. It was a blast to come and talk about me and all my friends.
And thank you all so much for watching.